Moshi Moshi! Welcome back. So now that you got an intro and like we got the STD form, we know where the minor and the major axes are, depending on the horizontal or vertical nature of an ellipse. Okay, let's try some. Okay, let's try some identifying of the important parts of an ellipse, and then we'll eventually move on to sketching them as well. Okay, again, major, major, vertical, horizontal. Major axis always goes over with the A, and it depends on which variable is sitting here in the front. Okay, here we go. Let's do the matchy-matchy later, skaters. Find the center, vertices, and you'll see how these notes, this unit, are going to be very similar to one another, so you can follow a similar pattern, okay? And again, this is number 2 on your homework, okay? Find the center, vertices, foci of the ellipse, okay? So again, can you tell that this is an ellipse? Yes, because you know that the STD form it's a very similar to a circle, but not really, okay? Same, but a little different, okay? All right, let's do number 2 and 1.2 together. All right, so this is an ellipse, okay? You're like, okay, this is kind of an ellipse. Oh, that's kind of ugly written, but you get my point, okay? This is an ellipse, okay? And you're thinking, okay, wait. So remember, thinking process. Like, what are you thinking in your head? Okay, write a couple of things down. Stop the video and write a couple of things that you're processing right now, okay? Ooh. Did you think, is the first thing that came to your head like that? And I hope you kind of sketched it too. You drew Mr. V's face here. Okay, that would be really helpful. Okay, and then you're like, okay, if it's vertical, I know it's this. You know, it's really nice to write the equation here, right? Thing, 1, and then you're like a squared, b squared. Okay, now move along, right? Okay. So now you can identify quite easily that the center is very important, right? The center tells you where to start the sketch, right? So you're looking for this, oh, sorry, that was an eraser, okay? So you're looking for basically this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. And kind of like these guys too. Okay, it should look like kind of like a Korean game of Yut, right? Yut stick, okay? So you guys, I guess the center would be HK like always, like the Hong Kong. So in our case, it's 0, 0. Okay. Okay, what else? Okay, now fourth, okay? What else do you have to find? You have to find the vertices, okay? Vertices, and you know that the K is the one that's shifting. So H stays alone. H, leave it alone. It goes up and down, right? How much? So you got to calculate the A, B, and C, right? So you know that the A is 5, B is root 21. What about C? Well, if you forgot, move up. What's C? Looks like your C, A squared plus A squared equals B squared plus C squared, right? Okay, that means what? C squared must be A squared minus B squared. Okay, so rewrite that based on whatever variable you're going to need, okay? A squared equals B squared plus C squared. So what are we going to do? We're going to do A squared minus B squared, which is C squared. So we're going to do A squared minus B squared equals C squared, okay? All right, so what does that give us? It's going to be 25 minus 21 equals C squared, so C must be a 2. Does that make sense to everyone? If you don't, kind of nudge your neighbor and make sure that you understand, okay? We have ABC. So basically, before doing the vertices, I would suggest that you do your ABCs first, okay? I mean, before you want to read, you got to do your ABCs, right? All right, so ABC. So let's go. Vertices, you're going to have to add this, the longest, right? The longest is a 5. So what are we going to do? We're going to add 5 to up and down. So we know Fish-Chisel that this is 0, 5, 0, negative. You're right. We never asked you to sketch, but I think a sketch is super helpful, okay? And this is 0, 0. Okay? All right, well, we know for sure that it's between that, right? So what's our B? Our foci, right? I'm sorry, we're going to add our foci amount here, right? So again, the foci also, I guess this is a 5th step, 0 something and 0 something. How much do we go up? Up 2 and down 2, and that's our foci, because that's what our B is. Okay, if you had to label this as a sketch, you'd have to label for me these coordinates as well, okay? So that one must be plus or minus root 21 0. So these 2 points here on the minor axes. Okay, does that make sense? How is that? I think the sketch, even though no one asked you to do it, I think it's quite helpful, okay? And that's it. We did everything that I asked for. Now go ahead and stop the video and try this one now, okay? I'll be quiet. Okay, welcome back. So I wonder how you were processing this. Now the x is here, but wait, this is the a squared, isn't it? Oh, so that means this guy is actually not horizontal, but vertical again. Because the A is always under whatever axis it should be on. Whatever major axis, okay? So vertical because it's the y squared, okay? Even though, wait, I take that back. Y squared is not in the front, but it doesn't matter. Okay, it doesn't matter because these can swap. It's a addition, right? Property of addition, commutative property. It doesn't matter. You got to really watch out for the actual a value here. Who is the larger a value in front of? It's under the it's under the y. Okay, vertical. So again, I'm going to draw Mr. V's face, nice and long. Pyong pyong. Don't forget the x's and don't forget your little dots on the sides here. Okay, and remember our goal is to get all that. Okay. Now it's pretty easy. We'll just go ahead and cheat. Look at this equation, right? What's our HK? Our HK, the center, it would be 4, -3. Okay, now what about our vertices? But before we do that, let's do our A, B, C. What's our A? A is 4 because it's square root of 16. That's our B squared, right? B squared is 12, so we're going to just leave it as root 12. Or you can write 2√3 if you'd like, okay? I don't care, okay? But we know for sure that 2√3 is about, I believe it's about 3 point something, 3.4 or something like that. 464, I think it is. Let's see. Oh yeah, 464. Okay. Ding, ding, ding. Okay. And C is what? A squared minus B squared equals C squared. So we know it's 16 minus 12, which is C squared. 4 equals C squared. So C is 2. So I'm going to erase that and rewrite that. And I guess C is 2. Everyone okay with that so far? So we did our ABCs. That's our next step. All right, we did our ABCs. Now go ahead and calculate everything. Our vertices and our foci. And you know what, you guys? If you want, you can go ahead and leave it like this now. Since we're big boys and girls, you understand that it's only the y value, the k value that's expected, right? So we're going to leave alone our h and go ahead and put -3, -3, plus or negative, okay? Yeah, plus or negative a, right? And then plus or negative 2 for the foci. And if you do it that way, as long as you label everything for me correctly when asked to graph, I'm okay with that. And I think you understand what this means, right? It means 4, -3 plus 4, or 4, -3 minus 4. Do your calculation. And same goes with the foci. Okay? All right. Now you can kind of see how sketching is super duper easy. And if you feel like, you know what, I totally get this because it's very, very like the parabola, then you can actually stop the video and start getting to work, okay? All right. For those of you that are coming with me, let's move on. Oh, this one's kind of different. Oh, we got to find the STD form of an equation of the ellipse with the center at the origin. So center is at the origin, so let's actually write down everything that they told us already. Okay. What if the image, can you guys tell if it's a Mr. V or a Miss Chang? Is it a horizontal or a vertical? If you can't tell, just look at the axes, right? How long is the minor axis? How long is the major axis? Well, if you can say which one's which. Well, it looks like this is only 1.5 and 1.5, so 3, and this one is 4 across. So you know, horizontal. You're right, some pictures, it may not be so obvious, so it's horizontal. So if it's horizontal, you're gonna write H, right? I always write it like this first, and then you adjust your A and the B. It's horizontal, so you know your major axis has to go under the X, and your minor axis has to go under the under the Y. Okay? All right, let's keep writing this, okay? We have everything we need to know. What else do we need to know? We need to know our A and the B, right? Okay, how do we find our A and the B? Well, why don't we try, okay, well, actually, just look at the picture, right? Wait, this is A, isn't it? Isn't this A? And isn't this B? I know my marker's kind of thick, okay? Isn't this B? Okay, well, what's A? Well, we know our 2a, we know our 2a is 4, so our a is 2. Our 2b is 3, so our b is 3 over 2. Does that make sense? Yeah? So if you can count, that's great, but if you can't, you may run into some issues, okay? All right, that's all we need to know. That's our third step. Let's do our last step. Put it all together. X, well, I won't write 0, but let's write the 0 for now because it's at the origin, right? Okay, what's our A? It's 4. And what's our B? Now watch this though, watch this. Our B squared, right? This is A squared, right? This is A squared. We have to write our B squared. Isn't our B squared 9/4? So watch the way I write this, 9/4. But it's not acceptable to have a fraction over a fraction. So what you're going to do is you're going to adjust that. You'll simplify that as x squared plus 4 plus 4y squared over 9 equals 1. Do you see why it's 4 over 9 rather than 9/4? Because we're dividing by a fraction, so we have to multiply by the reciprocal. Okay, and this is the acceptable final answer for this graph. I hope that was clear. It's pretty tricky, okay? All right, let's try the last one. If you need to stop the video and ask questions, please do, okay? So last one. Oh, this one, it doesn't look like anything. I don't know what it is, but it does tell me that it's an ellipse of something, okay? So that's a given hint, but sometimes I'm not going to tell you that it's an ellipse. I want you to rewrite into STD and see what appears, okay? Okay, so this is going to require some old algebra skills coming back, like the completing the square method, okay? So let's try this calmly, okay? We'll do the best we can. Let's try a different marker that we haven't tried, maybe something friendlier, okay? I'm going to gather up all my x's to belong together, right? All my y's belong together. All my y's, all my constants, throw it out. So it's 8 on the other side. It looks beautiful. We're going to get started. If you know what to do with it, run with it, okay? Remember, when you're doing completing the square, you can't have any constants outside. So we're going to pull that sucker out, and we're going to leave it like this. The y doesn't have any. Of course, I'm showing every step. You don't need to. Okay, I pull out 3. Now we're ready to complete the square for reals, okay? All right, leave the 3 outside. X squared plus 6x. I'm going to leave a little gap here. Plus, and I'll underline. Plus y squared minus 2y plus and underline equals 8. And I'm going to go plus and a plus. Because all these foreign objects that we're adding, we have to counter that onto the other side. Okay? All right, let's try this. Okay, half of b squared. Half of b squared. What's half of 6? It's a positive 3. So we're going to go 3 squared. What's half of negative 2? It's a negative 1. And we're going to square that. Wait. We just added some foreign objects. We added a 9 times 3. That's 8. That's 27. Okay, so we have to counter that by adding it to the other side. Wait. We added another one here. 1. We added 1. There's nothing to multiply by, so it's just 1 that we added. So we added 1. Did you guys see that? We're just balancing out the equations, okay? All right, so now we're ready to finish this, completing the square. X plus 3 squared plus y minus 1 squared. I always write the half of b as it is. I don't square it because it tells me what to do here. Okay, so x plus 3 squared over 2. And then I have, what is this? That's a 35/36. That's almost the standard form of an ellipse, but it's not really, right? So what do we have to do? We got to divide everything by 36 because we got to make that equal to 1, remember? So we get, x plus 3 squared over 12 plus y minus 1 squared over 36 equals 1. Wait, that's the STD form of an ellipse, right? What kind of ellipse is it? Is it vertical or is it horizontal? Exactly, because of this is a giveaway, right? The a squared is under the y, so it's a vertical. It's a Mr. V again. Man, I'm really biased with Mr. V, huh? All right, make sure you understand that. This one's a tricky part, I think. This one's a really tricky one, okay? All right, good luck. I'll see you on the next part. Bye.